It came literally out of the blue. I had no warning at all, not even the slightest hint of danger on the horizon. The water was crystal clear and calm. It was more like swimming in a pool, rather than the deep ocean waters in Kauai, Hawaii, where I go almost every morning to surf with my friend Alana Blanchard or the other girls on the Hanalei girls surf team. The waves were small and inconsistent, and I was relaxing on my board with my right hand on the nose of the board and my left arm dangling in the cool water. I remember thinking, I hope the surf picks up soon, when suddenly there was a flash of gray. That's all it took, a split second. I felt a lot of pressure and a couple of lightning-fast tugs. I couldn't make out any of the details, but I knew that the huge jaws of a massive tiger shark covered the top of my board and my left arm. It's funny. You would think having your arm bitten off would really hurt, but there was no pain at the time. I felt pressure and kind of a jiggle-jiggle tug, which I know now was the teeth. They have serrated edges like a steak knife, and they sawed through the board and my bones as if they were tissue paper. It was over in a few seconds. I remember seeing the water around me turn bright red with my blood. Then, I saw that my arm had been bitten off almost to the shoulder. There was just a 3 or 4 inch stub where my limb had once been. Byron and Holt, Alana's brother and father, got to me in a flash. Holt's face was white and his eyes were wide. "Oh my God," he said, but he didn't freak out. Instead, he took control of the situation. He pushed me by the tail of my board, and I caught a small wave that washed me over the reef as I lay on my board. Whatever emotions Holt, Byron, and Alana were feeling, they kept inside. Nobody panicked or lost their head. My arm was bleeding badly, but not spewing blood like it should with a major artery open. Holt took off his long gray sleeve rash guard and tied it around the stub of my arm really tight to act as a tourniquet. Holt told me to keep talking to him to make sure that I didn't pass out in the middle of the ocean. So I was talking, although I don't know about what, just answering his questions and praying out loud. In the surgery room, they hooked me up to lots of machines. It was Dr. Ravinsky who would be doing the first surgery, and he explained to both me and Mom how he would do it. "You've lost your arm, Bethany," he said gently. "Now the focus is on saving your life." My mom stayed by my side the whole time. My dad went out to deal with visitors and the ever-growing number of reporters who heard what had happened to me and were eager to break my story. In the hospital, I would look over at the bandaged stump where my arm used to be and think, now what? For a while, I doubted whether I would ever surf again. Everybody knows that it takes 2 arms to surf. I tried to tell myself, hey, I'm okay with this. I mean, surfing isn't everything, right? You'll find something else to do to have fun. "I want to be the best surf photographer in the world," I told my dad. That was my way of saying, listen, I know my surfing days are over. He just nodded. "I'm sure you will be," and tried to smile. He knew what it meant as well. But by Saturday, I changed my mind and started thinking about going surfing again. I was feeling better, my mind was less foggy, and there were so many people coming to see me and give me pep talks. I put on a brave face for everyone, but I can't pretend it didn't get to me at times. If I ever did start to get blue, I had my brothers to pull me back. They were laid back as always. They never let me know their horror or see their pain or fear. Timothy was always joking, and Noah was my biggest protector. They were so strong, and that helped me be strong too. Before I got out of the hospital, in fact, by the second day of my 1-week stay, I was talking differently about the possibility of surfing again. My whole family stood behind me and tried to encourage me as much as possible. My parents had no doubt that I probably could figure out a way to get up on a board, but I knew they felt my competitive days were over. "Bethany, I am sure you can do whatever you put your mind to," my dad told me. My parents too had a rough time. Neither of them was able to work for almost 3 months, which put a big financial burden on our family. My first indication that my life would never be the same again came just as we were leaving the hospital. Instead of going out the main entrance, we had to go through a maze of hallways and sneak out through the back door. There were hospital security guards with us, and when we got to our car, there were 2 Kauai policemen who followed us to a house in Anahola where I could continue to recover in privacy. My parents explained to me that there was a mob of TV people eagerly waiting to shove microphones in my face. Honestly, I really don't enjoy being in the spotlight, but I agreed to do interviews for the benefit of others. Strangers still approach me on the beach, in airports, in shops and restaurants. They ask for autographs, they come up and tell me I'm an inspiration. I'm interrupted at dinner by people wanting to be in a photo with me. It's totally bizarre. Being a top professional surfer would have brought me only a sliver of this recognition, and probably only within the tight-knit surfing community. "You're something more now than a surfer," friends tell me. You're the bearer of hope for those who have been handed a bad deal in the card game of life. In some ways it was like learning to surf all over again. I had to learn how to paddle evenly with one arm, and when I felt the wave pick me up, I had to put my hand flat on the center of the deck to get to my feet, rather than grabbing the surfboard rail the way you would if you had two hands. My first couple of tries didn't work. I couldn't get up. I must admit I was a little bit discouraged. I thought it would be easier. My dad, who was in the water with me, kept shouting, "Bethany, try it one more time. This one will be it." So I did. Then it happened. A wave rolled through, I caught it, put my hand on the deck to push up, and I was standing. I guess I started getting the technique wired after that. Of course, once I was on my feet, everything was easy. It's hard for me to describe the joy I felt after I stood up and rode a wave in for the first time after the attack. I was incredibly thankful and happy inside. The tiny bit of doubt that would sometimes tell me, "You'll never surf again," was gone in one wave. Even though I was all wet, I felt tears of happiness trickling down my face.